What's up, chat? I need to stretch this out harder. Oh no, Joey is getting NTR'd. Don't ever insult Marek's son like that. Marek's good boy Ototo cock belongs to his One-chan only. Ishizu-san has personally notified me of this.
Please let me keep this memory.
It's a well-known fact that Ototo are the property of their One-chan. This is why I do everything on separate layers, so it makes it way easier when I feel a need to stretch out Marek's eyes so they take up more space on his face. If you look at the Yu-Gi-Oh artwork, especially in the later areas, the eyes take up a shit ton of the face. If you're not using the full... If we're talking about proportions, like a normal human face, the proportions are like this. Loomis time. Now we have to learn how to draw Yu-Gi-Oh proportions. The Yu-Gi-Oh proportions are like if you don't remember to leave at least, I don't know, 1/8 of your page open to fit the hair in, you're not going to be able to fit it in. Don't let things like the skull or the jaw or the facial features distract you from the massive amount of hair that is going to need to be fit in the fucking page. The good thing about hair is that you can cut off the top and it's still okay, but like I said before, salons and hairstylists are essential workers in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe, up there with doctors and engineers. There's also the opposite possibility in that everybody just wakes up with their hair in this current situation and they don't need to go to salons and hairstylists at all. And if you ask somebody about it being a hairstylist in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe. Like, they'd be like, what's that? It's one or the other. Either it happens automatically and there is no such job, or like Kaiba Corp has an entire army of hairstylists on hand at all times. I woke up like this. I actually have the spiky Asian hair gene. Some Asians have like extremely straight hair, and if your hair is short enough and you just go to sleep with your hair kind of wet because you took a shower and you just went to sleep with your hair wet, you can wake up with Goku hair. This was my life for a really long time until I started figuring out that I was just going to shave it off. Weak white people will never understand the power of that straight Asian hair gene. It really does stick up like Goku. If I wear like a hat when my hair is still wet, then I can like have it stuck to my head, like make it can get flat. It basically just forms whatever shape it dries in, and like there's no styling gel required. What wig? I refuse to believe that my female cosplayer is wearing a wig, just like I refuse to believe that my female cosplayer is wearing a push-up bra. My giant milky mommy G-cup Hime cut princess cosplayer is just naturally that way. She would never deceive me. I had to for work because my real hair was green at the time. I assume this wasn't in any time between 2016 and 2022 in California. And it was more in the 2010 range. I'm pretty sure they fucking would allow it in the modern DEI version of California. 2018, 2021, interesting. So maybe the medical fields, they were actually not in the fully paused stage of Californian politics, being like, she's just expressing herself. Do you think companies will still do their performative rainbow posting? That's a good question. Right? It seems like we're out of that zone, but maybe we're not. Who knows? It's not like it costs them anything, right? So if they think that it's even slightly beneficial, then they might do it. But a lot of them also want to suck up to Trump right now, so... We're kind of past the initial wave of all the companies immediately turning and trying to suck Trump's dick, but we still are probably in the we would like to do a little bit of Trump dick sucking phase of all these corporations, so I think they might refrain from it this year. Go woke, go broke. I mean, it ain't that wrong. It's not that complicated. You just have to make something that your customers want. I know this is really the very difficult concept for so many companies, because a lot of them don't even understand the concept of customers at this point. Going all in on any niche ideology is just bad business sense. It's fine if that's the people who are buying your product. If you're like the largest Kwanzaa supplier in the country, you might not want to, for example, be sucking up to Trump. If your entire corporation is like the cock and ball torture supplier, you might also not want to be like, we're all about traditional Christian values. Although, I'm sure there's lots of closeted Republicans who are like, yes, I too am a cock and ball torture enjoyer, because Jesus would have wanted me to be one. As a cheap gamer, it's easy to take a stand when it means buying less of something. As a consumer of anything, it's very easy to take a stand when the thing that I want is not being produced in the first place. Boycotts only work if the thing that you actually want is being produced. If the developers aren't even making the video game I want to play in the first place, it's very easy for me to be like, I will not buy that game because it has an ugly female in it. Because everything else in the game is also bad as well. It's not even like oh, there's this one aspect of it which is preventing me from buying it, you know? Like, I automatically know that the rest of the game is bad if they can't produce a, like, semi-attractive female at any point, so... Before I went into the cockball torture metaphor, the immediate zealotry versus your primary audience, I was gonna say, maybe if you're the largest, like, kosher Torah supplier in the country, you shouldn't be posting about Palestinian rights. But I figured I had made enough comments about Israel enough in the past, you know, every stream, so I figured I should try and think of other metaphors, but I couldn't think of a good one. Yeah, Mossad's gonna shoot me eventually, so... kosher Quran market is getting destroyed lately. Japan has exactly 0 halal food supplier locations, I think. And yet it's full of various Muslims from Indonesia, Sri Lanka, etc. Interesting. It's almost as if once they're out of their Muslim countries, they don't care very much about properly following religious doctrine. It's particularly funny when like you have all these like Trump Republicans and Japanese anti-immigration dumbasses on Twitter being like, "We should spread pig's blood. That will scare the Muslims off. We've got their number," and it's like, LMAO, they don't actually care, dude. Especially like the Bush-era Republicans who are like, "We should tip our bullets with pig's blood. That will show him." I'm just like, dude, they're already fucking dead if you shoot them. I think you're already showing them. It's almost as if the rules are made up by God, yeah. Hystrixia, you know that the rules were made up when Moses went onto the mount and he came back with the 10 Commandments literally given to him by God. Trichnosis is a pretty compelling reason for a bunch of people in the Middle East to ban pigs. Yes, but the other reason to not ban pigs is that they taste really delicious, which is why, you see all these, like, Turkish people in your average tonkatsu shop in Japan all the time. Also, they eat their own shit, LMAO. Are you gonna say that I'm filthy just because I eat my own shit? That's really unfair. You're filthy for more reasons than not eating halal uwu. Speaking of me being filthy and eating my own shit, I think my asshole has stopped leaking various pus and blood. Finally, it's been basically a month since I got the surgery. It's like 3.5 weeks now, so... we're almost at full power soon. I still can't believe you evicted Aspley Jr. I hope he's doing okay. Aspley Jr. is alive in my heart, okay? Also, before the surgery, when I asked one of the doctors what would happen, is there any kind of complications from not having your hemorrhoids and stuff, they're like, nah, don't worry, you'll get more. You have an unlimited supply of hemorrhoids, they'll just grow back. It's like in Goku and he's just like, don't worry, we have Dragon Balls. If 10 trillion people die, we'll just bring them back with the Dragon Balls, dog. It's not a big deal. Once again exposing that he's a psychopath. That's basically the relationship we have to the hemorrhoids around here. Make a memorial with a little Aspley Jr. in the ghetto clouds? No, I will not. We are not mourning the death of one of my many hemorrhoid polyps. Piccolo growing his hemorrhoid back. He'd be like, ah. What would happen would be like Vegeta or somebody would destroy Piccolo's hemorrhoid surgically. And then Vegeta would be like, looks like the battle is already over. After you have lost your hemorrhoids, you're now at half strength, Piccolo. You can't fight me anymore. And then Piccolo will smirk and be like, are you sure about that? And he'd be like, huh? And then a new hemorrhoid would grow back inside his asshole. And then he'd smirk and be like, looks like the fight can continue. And the new hemorrhoid is like covered in the weird Namek juice that it always is. And this would take 2 pages in the manga, but in the anime it would be like a full 30-minute episode. In the anime, the Piccolo hemorrhoid regrowing scene would have to go on for like a solid 10 minutes as he goes, ah! And then there'd be shots of like Vegeta being like, what's he doing? And Nappa will be like, I don't know, boss! Ah! And then they go to commercial break. He's still regrowing his hemorrhoid. "30-minute episode with commentary somewhere on a different planet. Roshi and Puar and Oolong are being like, what's happening? And Roshi is like, oh, I can feel the chi of Goku. He's growing a new hemorrhoid. Oh, don't, Goku. It's too powerful. You're putting the entire universe in danger. I feel like Nappa is the largest, the biggest victim in the Dragon Ball universe, besides all the billions of people who have to die in every single arc. Because, like, he gets executed by Vegeta just to show what an evil, badass Vegeta is. And then after that, we enter the standard shonen manga zone in which it's like, Vegeta's actually a good guy. And Nappa's like, yo, what about me, bitch? Also, am I not allowed to come back to life? Didn't they use Dragon Balls at some point after, during the Saiyan Saga, where they're like, you have to bring back everybody who was killed by, Vegeta or something? Or did they not have that? I guess the Saiyans never actually came to, like, a population center and killed a bunch of civilians, which is, like, a standard occasion in pretty much every later arc. So maybe they didn't have that. I was just thinking, like, wouldn't Nappa come back to life if they use that? But I guess not. Science Saga left out Nappa. What a giant fuck you to the character. Wait, am I like mislabeling the names of each anime arc? Which one is the Science Saga? I thought the Science Saga is when Nappa and Vegeta come to Earth, like for the first time. Or am I mislabeling our terminology for which Dragon Ball arc we're talking about? Nappa is forever trapped on Snake Road. Wasn't there like a filler arc in which Yamcha and stuff are doing, are growing stronger and shit in the anime that like would never have been featured in the manga because like nobody gives a fuck about dead Yamcha and stuff? Like, Yamcha power levels are way higher in the anime because he got an entire training arc or something. Yamcha, Tien Shinhan, Jiaozu and stuff, they're all dead, and then they like, in the anime, they're like, they get their own training arc and shit. And then they fight non-manga, non-canonical enemies that will never be spoken of ever again. I'm confused now. Raditz died first along Goku. Yeah, I believe I'm forgetting the specifics of the Dragon Ball, the manga version of the Science Saga, because I had like 70% of the Dragon Ball volumes in my house because I received them from one of like my classmates in the Japanese Saturday school when they were going back to Japan or moving to a different state or some shit I can't remember. But like it was only 70%, so I was missing some of the volumes, and it includes I didn't have the part in which Gohan was training with Piccolo and Raditz shows up. It's kind of weird they never wish back Planet Vegeta. Never question things like motivation and logic in Dragon Ball storylines. Toriyama doesn't give a single fuck. Guess it's not that important to Vegeta. I mean, it really isn't. It's not even like that out of character. Vegeta is all like, they were all weak. I'm so strong, it doesn't matter. People all out there pretending like Vegeta has some sort of extremely deep characterization when his entire character is, I will be stronger than Kakarot 99% of the time. And then he shows like 1 second of emotion caring about his wife and kids, and people are like, oh, Vegeta, he's such a good guy. Didn't retards cry about GT being invalid? Anybody who cares about canon and the various Dragon Ball anime versions is has some serious mental issues, so they should be ignored. It's fucking Dragon Ball, dude. They literally blow up planets and people care about lore. If anything, I feel like the Dragon Ball autists care even more about lore because they have to talk about who's stronger, Silver Age Superman or Goku. So they're scouring every single mention of power levels. They have to be like, excuse me, sir. In episode 238 of Dragon Ball Super Giga Chad, it showed that Goku has cross-universe level power levels, and that was even before he had his next power-up. Constrictor, I'm gonna need you to take the Uchiha Madara Tensei copy pasta and rewrite it for Goku. Are you saying you can beat Goku in a fight, not just blue-haired Goku Vegeta Potara Fusion Gotenks Vegito Goku, but all universe Goku Blanco God Mode White Goku with power of the Saiyan gene fully unleashed, full giant monkey form. Constrictor, get on it. Yeah, he'll be back in like 3 months. It's literally like a 6-page long copy pasta. How long is that thing? Uchiha Madara copy pasta. This is the full length of I have to make sure it isn't showing my name. Whenever I go into Reddit, they ask me if I want to log in with my official Gmail, so I have to make sure that's not showing up. Is there a character that could possibly touch Madara Uchiha, let alone defeat him? I'm not talking about Edo Tensei Uchiha Madara. I'm not talking about Gedo Rinne Tensei Uchiha Madara either. I'm not even talking about Jubi Jinchuriki Gedo Rinne Tensei Uchiha Madara with the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and Rinnegan Dojutsu with the Rikudo abilities being capable of both Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi Genjutsu. I'm talking about Sage Mode Sage of the Sixth Path Jubi Jinchuriki Gedo Rinse Legendary Super Saiyan 4 Uchiha Madara with Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Rinnegan Mystic Eyes and Death Perception. Naruto's writing sucks, or writing scaling. Whenever anybody posts any art of me on 4chan, they're like, Reddit buddy. I have literally never posted a single message ever on Reddit, and I don't have a Reddit account. I only go on Reddit when they're the first source for Uchiha Madara Tensei Rinnegan copy pasta, and this is why I really don't need the Reddit writing scaling to tell me that Naruto's writing sucks. Writing scaling. Sasuke clears all these characters writing-wise and shouldn't be. Are you fucking kidding me? I hate Sasuke Uchiha. Any Naruto fans here? Sage mode literally means nothing. I believe Sage mode is when Naruto is accessing the chakra outside himself, isn't it? Doesn't he have unlimited gasoline reserves essentially when he's in full Sage mode? He gets the frog eyes. You always have to have different eyes in Naruto. For as much as people clown on Naruto, Naruto's writing isn't as bad as it could possibly be. It could still be so much worse. That's the funny part. When we're talking about power scaling shonen, there really is no limit to how bad the writing could be. Samurai and Naruto. I had read up to the part where the samurai showed up, and I didn't know they never showed up again, but I assumed as much. All I know about the last, like, 1/3, and it's a long-ass 1/3 because Naruto drags on forever, is that, like, the last boss is a hottie baddie moon mommy alien. I can't remember. Or maybe she's not the last boss. Maybe she's the second to last boss. Is the last boss Uchiha Madara? I can't even remember. Do we have any Naruto scholars in chat who can illuminate me on this? I powered through it way after it ended. I think she's the last boss? Okay. Is her name Kaguya? I can't even remember. Like Princess Kaguya? Is she a literal Princess Kaguya was a moon alien ending? I've been on to Kaguya being a hottie baddie for quite a while, since my childhood, because one of my friends had all of the volumes of Yaiba, the Aoyama Gosho manga that happened before he made a gigaton of money with Detective Conan. And it had Princess Kaguya in it. Let's see if I can find any images of her. But she looked like this. Do they show the full? She had the high leg going on. She had, like, it was a combo of evil woman with Hime-cut wearing a fucking bunny suit. Which, of course, you know, hits every single one of my fucking zones. She looks better in the manga, honestly. But, yeah. Feels good, man. So much of that arc of Yaiba was just like women in bunny suits. Because the moon is full of bunnies, right? So that means if we get moon goddess showing up, she has to wear bunny suit. It all makes sense. It's so logical. Truly 10,000 IQ character design decisions right there. If you're a female out there and interested in me, don't even talk to me unless you become a 6'3" Hime-cut female who wears bunny suits and is evil. That's the bare minimum. I was browsing Twitter yesterday before I posted my latest comic, and there was one person who was getting a lot of controversy because he drew an anime art of what he wanted out of a waifu, and it basically just said, waifu, she loves me and she listens to me. And there were a lot of people reading in the comments about his unhealthy expectations for women. It was pretty funny. How dare he say that he wants a woman that listens to him? And then I guess some of the anime drawing females on Twitter were like, ha, we'll show him how ridiculous his standard is. We can do the same game. And they posted like an image of an ikemen, and he's like, my husbando, he loves me and listens to me. And I'm like, this isn't as much of an own as you might think it is. And then someone made the ugly version, would you want her then? I mean, they do have a point. He did draw a very conventionally attractive anime waifu. On the other hand, I don't think it's saying that you're asking too much to have say you want to marry someone that's at least attractive enough that she gives you a boner when you look at her naked, and B, saying you want to marry somebody who loves you and will listen to you when you want to. Like, I feel like anything less than that is basically like you're gonna be miserable, so... I don't know how to do all these wrinkles, man. What the fuck? Wrinkles are so hard. I feel like the bare minimum of attractiveness as a man is that your penis responds. Ultimately, your penis knows what it wants, right? There's no point in pretending like you can stay long-term with somebody if your penis is just like, nah, dog, I can't do this. The bare minimum, nice looking enough to fuck and respectable enough where you don't want to off yourself around them. Yeah. Imagine if you would have to pay like dowries and stuff as well. No wonder birth rates are declining. It's interesting how some cultures the male side has to pay the dowry, and in other cultures the female side pays the dowry. I guess it's a bride price. I think there's different words for them depending on who's paying. Yeah, so they're different things. The bride price is where you pay the female's family, and the dowry goes from the bride's family to the male side. I'm sure there's like PhD theses on this, on what kind of social factors lead to which is which. Technically, engagement rings are dowries. Yeah, because they're basically a down payment. More than being a dowry, I feel like they're just the jewelry industry trying to find yet another reason why we have to give them stupid fucking money. The jewelry industry. If you're in America, you get so many like Kay's Jewelers ads. My god. They're like, did you know that today is Memorial Day? That means you should buy your wife new jewelry. It's your 13th anniversary. Everybody knows now is the time to go to K Jewelers to buy this cheap shit. To remind her that you love her. Please give us more money for this non-essential object. Please. In Judaism, it was the bride's family paying the dowry. It depends on how useful you think the female is going to be, I guess. If you think she's dead weight, and you're like, oh god, please take this thing off our hands, then you have to pay the dowry. And if you're like, no, my female is very useful, I need her to shit out babies, then you're more willing to pay. Also, a lot of it was like to make sure that your daughter didn't properly had her shit, so she wasn't just like not getting taken care of by her shitty husband, right? You had to make sure that she had all her her mirrors or whatever she would be taking with her. Of course, all of this can be avoided by just marrying your sister. That way you don't need to add a new family to the equation and transfer wealth to your second family. Just keep it inside your family. The Habsburg understood this. We shouldn't disperse our great financial powers by marrying other people. What's the worst that can happen? That's the future's problem. Yes, little Baal might have some horrible genetic defects, but it's not our problem right now. Wasn't there an anime clip where a dude was caring for a wheelchair-bounded lady and the dude who posted the clip got shit on? Was this a long time ago? I can't remember. I think there was something like that, yes. Twitter really does have the most toxic people. 4chan used to have the championship for the most toxic place on the internet for a long time, but Twitter definitely has it beat at this point. It's not even close. Somehow 4chan, the anonymous internet board, where people are allowed to just, you know, use every single slur available, is somehow way more well behaved than just Twitter in general at this point. People go on Twitter to get in fights, basically. Including the owner himself, if you think about it. Twitter is 9% teens who don't know shit or pathetic millennials who live there, no in between. You're forgetting the 90% of the Twitter population, the bots. Although I think they've done a few more bot purges recently, I don't see as much of them. We will not stand for bot erasure, though. The bots are an important part of our society. The content zombies, yeah. Japanese, they always call them impression zombies. But when I was browsing it last night, usually when I would click on any Japanese post that would get a shit ton of likes, there would at least be 50 to 100 comments by people with blue check marks. And I don't see them right now. See, here's a post by this person who's very popular. It has 99,000 likes. And I'm going down, and it's just no blue check marks. And nobody from, Nigeria App Store. So I think they might have implemented an AI that can detect bots and have just nuked a shit ton of the bots. We'll see how long this lasts, of course. If there's one thing we know about Twitter, in my timeline, I just got a female responding to this comment saying that cloth doesn't go beneath your boobs. And this person is like, actually that's not true, as someone who has big boobs. And they're showing the diagram of the boobs, where normally there isn't like the boobs underneath the cloth. But then once you move it, the boobs go up, and then they sandwich the cloth in between it, and then your stomach goes up, and then you have like the tit bag. So the standard boob situation, if you're the boobs, it's like this, right? And then we're talking about, in this situation, now the cloth is underneath the boobs. And now you can see the belly. If there was a big titty milk cow hag walking around like this, it would just be like, my God, this woman needs dick correction immediately. It cannot be forgiven. Especially she said that she's not wearing a bra, which means that we have to add these things right here. Where can I find such a woman? I'm in Japan and all the females around me are walking with this posture. The boob sweat stains. Titties just giant bags of fat. They must be uncomfortable. One thing about Canada, you get a lot of stacked chicks. How fat are they, though? I don't care how big your boobs are if your waist isn't thin. It's only special when the fat is concentrated in the boob area. How about the LA fake titties? Those aren't even bags of fat, they're bags of silicone. I have no interest in fake titties. If anything, fake titties are a warning sign. That the bride price is going to be very expensive. She's going to be like, oh my god, he doesn't fund my plastic surgery budget. It's literally abuse. This needs to be more vertical. Fake tits are the worst, to be honest. He'll run away by default, to be honest. That's true. I wonder if the reason why I'm always jacking off to rape hentai is because my fight or flight response is so strong. So the only situation in which I can imagine myself not running away from a woman is when I'm jacking off to hentai rape porn and I'm in like a conflict. Because I'm terrified of like actual human relationships or something. I'm doing some really deep Freudian psychoanalysis here. Because maybe it's because I see every other human being as a threat. And how does that make you feel? It makes me feel like I have to go on Pixiv and check the updates of all the AI porn producers I'm following to make sure I haven't missed out on any new porn so I can jack off at maximum efficiency. What do you think about hyper muscle girls that have head-sized biceps, not meatball size, but like Super Saiyajin 3 big? The artist has to be talented enough to understand anatomy and shit. A lot of the muscle girl enjoyers are just people who put on like balloons of muscle without understanding the underlying process of adding muscle to the body. I feel like the maximum level of muscle that you can add to the female body and have it still look female and attractive is probably the ninja chick from Tenkaichi or so. And some of the Dorohedoro girls is probably as far as you can go. And after that, it can start to look cartoonish or just not feminine enough to jack off. Do you like if the female has Giga Jack thighs that become gourd shaped? You mean like, by gourd shape, you mean instead of like this, it's like you can see each of the individual, like this, right? Kale isn't even that big. Also, I tried to watch Dragon Ball Super for like half an episode and I was immediately turned off. I feel like Dragon Ball Super has a lot of like the parts of Dragon Ball that were kept quiet for a reason, and instead they say them out loud. Like immediately they go to the episode in which Vegeta has to take his kids shopping or Bulma shopping or whatever. It definitely feels like it's being produced by fans of Dragon Ball instead of by being produced by Toriyama itself. One of the best parts, well, not the best parts, but one of the distinct parts about Dragon Ball is that uh, Toriyama is a pretty dry storyteller. He doesn't get too like caught up in the sloppy emotions of shit. He just like does what happens. He doesn't overstate stuff. There's not much melodramatic content. And Dragon Ball Super was immediately like, "Hey guys, remember how much Vegeta loves his wife and kid, etc." You can immediately tell like the emotional dimension in which Dragon Ball Super inhabits is that of a fan, not that of a creator. I did enjoy seeing 18 as an athlete or yummy mummy. I have to redraw this blue line again. It's just not good enough. These are too dark right here. Some boob overflow could really push it into true art. This boob does feel a little lower than it should be. It should be farther up. The corset is there for a reason. I might have to work on the correct amount of boob overflow off when I'm not streaming so I can really get it right. This is obviously the most important part of the image, is the boobs. I wonder if Mai buys her bodices corsets at places like Agent Provocateur or Ren Fairies. It will tell me a lot about her as a person. This is an alternate dimension in which the Kaiba Corp owns like 90% of every kind of commercial activity, I feel. So I think the answer is there's a Kaiba Corp sponsored clothing store, and besides buying clothing, you also have to duel the store owner to get discounts and shit. If there's one thing that you know about any sort of children's card game, toy related anime, is that no matter what you want to do in that society, at some point the card toy anime thing is gonna come into play. So if there was a Mai shopping for clothing at Hot Topic episode, the Hot Topic would instead owned by the eccentric billionaire Kaiba. And there would be like discount if you win our duel or whatever. This would of course be a filler episode. I wish more women in the real universe looked like Mai and dressed like Mai. As in, dressed like a whore is what I mean. But not the kind of whores that we see on Twitter. A better dressed, more leathery whore. Modern women dress like prostitutes in terms of how much of their body they're showing off, but none of them are going into this level of, time-consuming bondage leather fashion. Only if you're wearing this much, you're well into the cosplayer category. Just go to a goth club. I said women that look like anime. Bunch of nerdy women in bondage outfits. Okay. I said I wish women look like that, but I don't actually want to be around them. That's too much work. I want to see these women walking around as NPCs on the street. I don't want to actively have to go and search them out. You don't understand. I bet if you had, a girlfriend, you would ask her to dress up for you. I would never ask that from my girlfriend, because what would happen is I'd be like, I'm sorry, honey, I know I asked you to wear this leather bondage corset, but your body type, it just isn't fully hitting my the level of perfection I desire. It's just not a good representation of what I want. I'm sorry I asked that of you in the first place. I won't ask again, and she would get extremely mad at me, so we're not gonna do that. I'd just be like, babe, keep on wearing that baggy athleisure clothing. You're most beautiful when you're wearing Uniqlo. Although I don't think Uniqlo is baggy at all. I think it's all like kind of form-fitting. Now that I'm in Japan, I can buy as much Uniqlo as I want. Which is to say, none. I don't want any Uniqlo. You're right about it being too much work. Driving to San Francisco weekly for the club was a pain. I'd be more interested to go to the male leather bondage club. Fisting is $300. but I would also be afraid to go there for different reasons. My hemorrhoids haven't healed yet, so... Boy, do I have a street parade to suggest. Luckily, I don't think Japan is doing any of that. Also, I wouldn't go to a street parade. There's too many human beings. I'm much more willing to be around other human beings when I don't have to commit to it. Like, if I can stay in the position of, like, I'm just walking by. You don't do festivals where you confess your love to a girl in a yukata but the fireworks drown you out. She's also deaf. The ironic thing is I did like almost all of the standard Japanese anime side quest, or maybe main quest, depending on which anime it is, content when I was a kid. Because I was in Japan for elementary school and high school, which is like both of the timelines for having your childhood friend experiences and also like having the main romance experience. So I've done actually all the quests because they come mandatory in Japanese high school just because the school supports it. And then I had like a mother that forced me to do shit when I was in elementary school. So I did go to summer festivals and shit with my elementary school female, which I don't remember. I've done it with multiple females. I don't know any of their names or remember what they look like because, you know, the autism is very strong. But I do know I did a lot of fucking side quests. I've even been in the bath with like other Japanese girls when I was like in earlier elementary school ages. So, One-chan. Did you ever go on a date? I have never been on any official dates. But that's pretty similar to the rom-com anime as well, if you think about it, right? They almost never go on dates. Sometimes there's a date episode in which inevitably, within the 5 seconds in which you're not paying attention to her, delinquents show up and are like, "Ora ora nei-chan, let's go and have a fun time with her." And she's like, "Excuse me, I'm waiting for somebody else, kya?" And MC-kun has to show up and be like, "Unhand her, villains." This has never happened in literally any time I have been Japan. I have never seen anybody do Nampa and be like, "Hey girl, wanna go do something with me?" I have literally never seen that happen ever. But somehow in the rom-com, if you ignore your female for 5 seconds, suddenly there'll be like 3 guys with bleach blonde hair being like, "Heh, forget him, you'll have a better time with me." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm about to be raped." Also, she's usually waiting in like an extremely public location, like in the square right in front of the train station. If there's one thing you know about that, there's always like a koban, which is the police boxes right there. So the chances of that shit actually happening is basically below 0. Sounds like a normal childhood. It was in Japan in the 90s. This hair shape is fucking up with the eye shape. I need to figure this out. The eye needs to take up more space, and I'm letting the hair shape dictate the eye shape, which is not what I want to do. The fact they show it happening in broad daylight in public is hilarious. Yeah. Again, I've only seen one manga anime episode happening, and it was two guys punching each other in the middle of a train car. They were kind of like grabbing each other's hair and punching them at very close range, and it wasn't doing a shit ton of damage, and everybody was still sitting in the train car. And typical of Japanese standard behavior, none of them were saying or doing everything. Everybody's just saying silently as the guys were punching them. And then eventually the train conductor guy showed up, and it was like, what the fuck, and kicked them off the train. And then when they were walking away, I heard them talking to each other in Chinese, and I was like, LMAO, that's the funniest capstone on the story. Of course it's Chinese people. There are no Japanese delinquents with pompadours being like, ora, 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 you looked at me. Now we must fight. It just ain't happening, guys. As a female, that shit happens outside of bars late at night while you're smoking. In general, weird shit only happens, especially in Japan, when people have enough liquid courage inside them, so their inhibitions are properly fucked up, and then they can do stupid shit when they're completely drunk. I assume this is the same for pretty much any country. People only start to behave poorly when they're drunk enough. If you get enough drunk people in an area, all bets are off. Stabbings are happening, but until the alcohol gets in people, good luck in getting them to behave poorly. This left eye. There's a reason I never let anyone touch my drinks. I don't know if Japanese date rapists have access to like the Rohypnol and stuff like that though. Japan is a traditional conservative society, so they have to maintain the tradition of normal date rape, in which they just try to get you drunk by giving you like Kahlua milk or whatever. In Japan, they honor tradition. They don't go to doping and stuff. They do date rape the traditional way. Imagine going to bars. Yeah, that's another part. This shit is expensive as fuck. In Japanese bars, they have things called otoshi, which means it's just like, what do you call it? Appetizers, but they give it to you automatically, but it's not free. It's not a free appetizer, it just shows up, and then you have to pay for it, and it's overpriced, of course. Japan is a very affordable, nice society, but that affordability and niceness starts to go away pretty quickly as soon as you start getting into the various things that related to drinking. There's all these bars that are there specifically to rip you off. It's how you get into like the Yakuza territory, to whatever degree that the Yakuza still exist. You get your Bottakuri bar, which is a bar in which you go in and they don't have the prices, and after you've been drinking for 30 minutes and you try to leave, you have to pay them like $300. Meanwhile, if you just choose to drink at home in your apartment, it'll cost you 200 yen, and the chances of you getting your ass beaten by Yakuza is 0. But of course, the best option is just not drinking at all. The difficulty I'm having with this eye is I'm doing a specific manga type anatomy in which it wouldn't be possible for her to be looking at Merrick at this angle physically. But I do still want her eye contact, her perspective to be looking at him. That's what's fucking it up. It's this difficult area of non-reality that doesn't make sense from like a three-dimensional space kind of reason, but I know I can do it if I do get it completely right, if I make enough adjustments, but I can't do it on my first shot. I want you to beat this eye. Don't be defeated. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna be like, I got it during the stream, and then I'm gonna come back to it 8 hours later and be like, no, I don't got it. I have to redraw it, and I'm gonna be able to do it off stream. But it's one of those things where, like on stream, I'm just trying to get it by doing like 18 different variations. But like off stream, it won't take as many tries because I'll be able to feel the spacing better. Zooming out helps a little bit. The problem with the eyes is that it's also like all the personality as well, so you absolutely have to get it right. The Sisyphean struggle of being an artist. The thing is, if you're actually good, you just draw it on your first try and it's not a big deal. Just, it is literally a skill issue. That's the problem. For all the memes about things being skill issues, all of your art struggles are in fact skill issues. They were always skill issues. None of this is really a problem if I'm just drawing my own art style and my own characters. If all I'm drawing is beefy dwarfs, I don't have any difficulty. I can draw a beefy dwarf from any angle. I have fully internalized the skull structure and the eye positioning. Coloring is annoying to learn. How the fuck is a gold neutral color? Like, fuck off, color theory. Speaking of gold and color theory, for me, the dress will always be white and gold, not blue and black. I don't fucking care what people be like, oh, but the actual thing is that if you take the image into your computer and you click on it, it fucking looks like white and gold. Is it based on your contrast being too high or something? There it looks blue. Pretty much even if you zoom in on it, it still looks like blue. But the gold is definitely gold. I don't fucking understand how, essentially, this color became this color, but if you're looking at the JPEG, it is most definitely closer to white and gold. The whitest spot, let's choose the whitest spot on the dress, is like this. It's like a jean color. I feel ancient seeing this. There's a whole Wikipedia article on the dress, LOL. It was probably the most popular optical illusion we've had in the internet age. Where the fuck is the black supposed to be? It literally is a blue and black dress. Quite literally. It's a huge optical illusion. I can't remember what the percentages of people are. But just the way the photo is shot, it is 100% blue and black. There's something about the lighting and stuff. It makes it look like white and gold. 2015 was 41 years ago. This and the Laurel Yanni sound clip debate, yeah. The original dress literally looks like this, but then when you see it in the photo, if you actually take the colors using an eyedropper, you definitely have these gold colors. The whites are definitely like a cool blue, and that's the big optical illusion. But the fact that you could go from, it's like a pretty dark, like a pretty obvious blue and black. The fact that you could go from that to, in the photo, it looking like white and gold as much as it does is pretty interesting. There's a funnier sound illusion where an Incredible Hulk game has a voice line where "come and mop up boys" sounds like "come in my butt boys." I think that's just a normal Freudian slip there. You've probably said "come in my butt boys" so many times in your life, you just automatically are like, he must be saying "come in my butt boys." Like, how often in your life do you say "come and mop up boys" compared to how often you say "come in my butt boys," right? It's just a much more common phrase that you're going to use as a man on a daily basis, so... Six hot loads. He was talking about freshly dried laundry. That's a lot of laundry. Drill Sergeant! You know what we lack? We lack military porn that isn't gay. Especially in the hentai category. There's not enough hentai artists who are drawing women in military uniforms. There's some, but it's insufficient. Ironically, there's a lot of Koreans who do it because they're all forced to be in the military. So it creates like a common fetish among them. But if you're looking at the total amount of hentai porn, the percentage that is military, especially like modern military uniform, instead of like fantasy sci-fi military uniform related content, is insufficient. Most hetero military porn would involve a dependopotamus in the end. Maybe a base bunny. I'm not talking about realism. I'm just talking about sexy female wearing army fatigues and a tank top doing push-ups or something. I don't want stories about the horrible shit that goes on in literally every single military relationship. Every time you hear about military relationships, it's always just like, and then I found out that he or she or both of them were having like affairs with 13 different people. Like, why are these people like that? I don't know. You probably have to be like, have some sort of issues in the beginning just to be like, I want to join the military in the first place, so... And then that combined with like, I'm gonna be stationed overseas, they're gonna be stationed overseas. Hence the term base bunny. Oh, I always assumed that was just because she was based. Haha. Based on what? Do you think that the bunny girl outfit, the original implication was that because they're bunnies, they have a lot of sex? Or is it just like, did the designer just think it was a cute theme? I don't know if the implications were being implied back in the 60s or not. Yes? Okay. Hugh Hefner designed it that way? Well, Hugh Hefner didn't design it, though. I believe it was a female fashion designer. He was like, we need something that... Hefner was like, we need something in which women are, like, classy and sexy, and she's like, I made it. And he's like, this looks awful. And then, like, everybody liked it. He was like, okay, I was wrong. So he actually wasn't that responsible for the bunny design. He just lucked out with getting a good clothing designer. Playboy's logo is the bunny. Was it always the bunny before the bunny suit? I guess the logo came first, and that would make sense. Bunnies are cute and endearing, but have the implication of being nymphos, so it's a safe mascot. I don't know. My experience of living with my mother's cat has made me think of bunnies as cute and endearing, but having the implication of being decapitated pieces of meat that are dripping their blood all over the floor as the cat gores them with its claws and murders them in horrible ways. That's what I associate with bunnies now. Cats are vicious predators. No matter how rollful and funny they are. Why must you hurt me this way? Because I'm traumatized by having to clean up the corpses that were literally brought into our house. That was a vicious fucking cat, my god. It was like literally a Godfather experience where I found the body first and had to follow the trail of blood on the kitchen floor to find the head. I was just like, God damn it, not again. She got a lot of non-bunnies as well, but the rabbits in my area were not prepared for that level of, like, hostility, clearly. I mean, you could just, like, jog by them and they wouldn't even move because they're just not prepared to deal with predators. So, I'm sure that cat had a fucking field day. At least you didn't get the Godfather 2 experience. What? Getting shot in the head because your brother ordered it? Or going to Cuba and taking guys on a tour in which they go and see the sexy snake lady dancing and then putting the snake in her vagina or something, I assume it's implied. I thought he meant the horse head in the bed scene. That's in Godfather 1. That is what I was implying when I said the Godfather experience. The horse head scene is very famous, of course. I guess I could also experience the Godfather 2 scene in which the guy dies from blood loss in the bath. Except in my case, the blood loss would be from my hemorrhoid bleeding out. The FBI agents who are monitoring me so I don't die before the testimony are like, oh no, his hemorrhoid loss has killed him in the bath. They got to him. Aspley Jr. betrayed you. Aspley Jr. showed up and was like, let's talk about the Roman Empire. Old Romans, they would have a banquet and then they'd cut their veins open in the bath, says the hemorrhoid, and then, you know, fucking explodes. He knew you were gonna snitch. Gotta protect the hemorrhoids. Some things are bigger than the individual. The hemorrhoids must live on even if I die. What is the female equivalent of thinking of the Roman Empire? Thinking about the Minotaur milking farm, I assume. Thinking about how they're not betraying their feminist ideals just because they're having the hulking Minotaur pay for the dinner. True crime, I guess. That probably is the correct answer. Women love true crime. Instead of thinking about the Roman Empire, they're thinking about how, oh my god, what if Giga Chad murders me? That would be awful, but also hot. Thinking about cheese bread? No, that's just standard American mental state. Standard American is just thinking about cheese bread nonstop. Anything with high cholesterol, Americans are like, now would be a good time for some cheese bread. We're thinking about the Soviet Communist Revolution and its lasting impacts in Eastern Europe. I guarantee that's not what American women or American in general are thinking about. The average American is not thinking about the Bolsheviks at all. In fact, the average American doesn't even understand the concepts behind communism and stuff. It used to be you could just call anything communism, but that got too weak. And then we called everything a Nazi. And then that wasn't enough, so then we started calling everything pedophilia. And now we're at the point where if you're in the MAGA group, you call everything trans. I say this because apparently Paxton is running anti-James Tallarico ads, and he's calling him like a trans person or some shit. I'm just like, it's just word salad now. Vocabulary means nothing. People don't care about the meaning behind the words. They're just like, we're just gonna call people the buzzword that we know our base dislikes. Would Trotsky have escalated the Cold War? I mean, wasn't he a military guy? I don't know, man. If Stalin hadn't been in power, there's a high chance that the next person in power wasn't as paranoid as him, and then might have gotten killed by one of his lieutenants, and then you might have gotten someone completely different from Trotsky, you know? Like, Stalin wasn't good at ruling the country, but he was very good at not getting killed, right, by internal coups and stuff like that, so any kind of guarantee that, like, if you had someone else that you would continue to get that other person seems like it's like you're assuming shit. Is there ever a bad time for cheese bread? I don't know, man. I'm not incredibly overweight, so I don't get sudden urges for cheese bread. Whenever I go to the Indian place, they have a cheese naan option, and I always just get the normal naan, because I'm just like, yeah, I don't need that extra cheese. I like the bread on its own. The carbs are already bad enough. I don't need to go out of my way to make them possibly worse. Cheesy naan too powerful. The thing is that if you order the normal naan, you get refills. And you don't if you order the cheesy naan, because the cheese is not cheap in Japan. When I want to eat a lot of food on a budget, I always go to the local Indian place that has unlimited naan refills and get an extra one. That way for 1,100 yen or so, I can eat until like I feel like my stomach's gonna explode, which is approximately 2 pieces of naan instead of 1. These are big ass naan. They don't give you like a half-size naan, they give you like a full-size naan when you ask for okawari. Thoughts on Yujiro and Tekken 8? I liked how there was an entire 4chan thread about whether it was manly to rape other men yesterday because he was in Tekken 8. Can't wait for the rape super though, it only works on men though. A fun fact about Yujiro that people forget because he's been memed so often is that he also rapes women. Cause he's a Giga Chad, guys. Remember, Yujiro only rapes men because he has such high testosterone he sees them as women, which means he's technically straight, which means he also rapes women. Also not a very good survival strategy, by the way. Not being able to differentiate between things that have wombs and don't. Just being like, I will stick my penis inside the man. It has much lower testosterone than me. Surely I can have children with this male. That manga series is hyper gay. Any story about manly men has to be hyper gay. I can't remember any instance of him raping women. He rapes Jack's mother in the Nam. I'm fuzzy on old Baki. We all are. It's been a long time. We're on like Baki volume like 100 now, but right now, right? I don't know how many volumes has been out. The funny thing is that like if you want to read Baki in order, you can do it in like 2 days because there's like no dialogue. I only read Baki when I go to Manga Kissa, the manga cafes, because if you're buying the volumes, unless you're reading super slow, it's just really bad economics, because you can read one in like 15 minutes, even if you're just reading normally and not even speed reading. Who is your favorite Baki character? It's a good question. It might be Orochi Doppo. Le Funny Karate Man. The latest Yujiro stunt is him versus jackhammer on his face. It never ends. I also like Pickle because that was when the entire series really went off the fucking rails. Up until the Pickle saga, Baki was still kind of in the realm of like, okay, this is ridiculous, but it's still martial arts manga. But when they're like, we found the Neanderthal in a block of ice, and we're gonna resuscitate him, and he's gonna fight using Triceratops style. Or I guess Baki is the one who was using the Triceratops style. That was when Baki entered fully into the zone of ridiculousness. Holy shit, I gotta read Baki as soon as possible. Pickle, also a certain guy who decided that the best way to introduce characters to the readers to his new character would be by starting by raping someone, by the way. I wonder if Itagaki was watching Scooby-Doo reruns when he thought up Pickle. I legitimately think Itagaki spent a lot of time like philosophically thinking about all the aspects of what it means to be strong and the various formats in which people become strong and stuff like that. And he sees Baki not just as like silliness, but also as like a philosophical introspection into what it is to be strong, power, those types of stuff. I think Baki is more a document about like pondering what it means to live on this planet and fight and stuff like that than it is a story. You think Oliva's dick is bigger than Yujiro's? For Oliva to have sex with his gigantic land whale white wife, he needs to have a massive cock, or else it won't fit beneath all the folds of fat. So I think the answer is yes. Most of the descriptions of Yujiro are about like his testosterone aura, but it very rarely goes into how physically big his cock is. So I'm assuming that his cock isn't that insanely huge. A lot of what is funny is the genuine absurdity of people who take combat seriously. I mean, you can't get over the fact that in real life, you just die if you're like stabbed and stuff. And martial arts is, as a whole, is just like cope. It's using the human body in ways in which it wasn't designed to be used as. The human body was designed to be used as a way to run long distances and then stab things with sharp sticks and throw rocks and stuff like that. You're not meant to punch something with your fist. That's why your hand will frequently break if you punch something with it. But martial artists they've all like convinced themselves that no, if I train my hand by stabbing it into big bowls of burning ash for many times, it will become a spear or whatever. It's just like dog, just use an actual spear. Have you ever thought of that? Casually tanks a shotgun blast point blank by flexing his muscles. Yes. Also, if you use enough steroids, instead of becoming a extremely bad health case in which you die of your heart exploding at 25, instead you become invincible to bullets. That's also what Baki tells you. I have never been defeated in a fight, so I'm clearly the strongest man alive. I mean, Baki really is about those kind of like philosophical pondering. If I just run away all the time, doesn't that mean I just win? Or I've never been defeated in a real fight, but I was defeated when I was imagining myself fighting a praying mantis, so I'm actually very weak. That kind of shit. It's all weird-ass mental exercises. I have never been defeated except that one imaginary fight I had with the giant bug. My imagination was so powerful though, everybody who was watching my training could see I was losing to the praying mantis. It was extremely humiliating. If two men ass rape each other simultaneously, who is the winner? The one who comes first or the one who comes last? I'm guessing it's the one who comes last, right? I'd have to consult some more gay porn. It's hard to rape for two guys to rape each other in the ass, but if you read gay porn and stuff, a lot of it is just hand jobs instead of like getting to the ass penetration. And you definitely can both give each other hand jobs at the same time. Let's consult Lords of the Locker Room to figure that out. If you come from the ass, then you're the loser in a domination sense. Ugh! This is why you have to wrestle in the first place to decide who gets the top. Motherfucker's just sitting there menacingly.
Hey, buddy, I think you got the wrong door. The leather club's 2 blocks down.
Fuck you.
Ah, fuck you, Leatherman. Maybe you and I should settle it right here on the ring if you think that's tough. Yeah, you're gonna wrestle
Your
on this.
ass. Yeah.
Fuck you, Leatherman.
Why don't you get out of that leather stuff? I'll strip down out of this and we'll settle it right here in the ring. What do you say?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, you got it. Get out of that.
Van Darkholm is a good, like,
Smart ass.
inch and a half taller than him now that I see. I don't know if I would bet on Mark Wolf in this case, although I do believe Mark Wolf is the winner for this fight.
Huh? That's what you got. Come on.
They're pretty much in the same weight class, it seems.
Leather boy. Come on, Leather boy. Let's see what you got. Pretty quick.
The female viewers of this stream don't know, but every male locker room has a convenient wrestling ring inside the locker room. It's one of those male locker room only amenities, I guess, that women don't get access to.
That talk shit, man. Yeah.
It makes sense why so many women complain about like their bathrooms being too small compared to men's bathrooms, and their toilet times take too long, because the men are always like wrestling in the locker room, you know? It's just something that women don't need. Ah! They have the full 16-minute fight in here until the dick sucking starts.
Joe's breathing?
The funny thing is, Billy Aniki actually has wrestling experience, so you can tell he has he actually does a lot of very specific wrestling moves. And then if you watch the Mark Wolf versus Van Darkholm fight, it's obvious that neither have actually done any wrestling, so they just do a lot of like weird leg scissoring and stuff like that. I know I talk about cock all the time, but this is too much. I'm tapping out. This is why you usually only see the "fuck you, Leatherman." Ah! Oh! Oh! Oh, get him in the crab posture. Oh! I mean, he's already tapping out, though. You'd think that Mark Wolf would have lost at this point, you know? Like, isn't he already lost? But at the end, like, most of the fight, you could say that Van Darkholm is actually dominating him pretty clearly. Ah! Oh! Yeah! Oh! Ass. Ass.
Do you like dick?
Spanking.
Fisting. Leg.
Come. Dick. See? Come. Knife. Master.
It's also more emotional.
Do anal.
Fisting.
Turn me on. Come.
What is gayer, fucking a femboy or fucking a Chad?
Dungeon Master.
I would say fucking the Chad is gayer. See, I think of things on a sliding scale of masculinity and femininity. I think I've talked about this scale before, but if we have like peak feminine,
Foreplay.
feminine,
Do it again.
as Yuri Onesan's drinking tea in flower garden. This is maximum feminine, and this is maximum masculine.
Spanking.
And we'll put this here as heteronormative relationship
Do you like what you see?
between childhood friend and MC at the center.
Master.
On the far right, we have like Spartans having gay sex for troop cohesion as max male. Having sex with the gay sex with the Chad would be around here, right? And then gay sex with femboy Assuming you're the one who's topping. If you're the femboy, it's over here. Femboy getting fucked by Chad. The most unabashedly gayest men are hyper-masculine. Yeah, like that one Australian guy who was in this weird, like, gay dom sex cult, but he died because they did too much, like, penis implants. You know what I'm talking about? This might have been news only in the Japanese internet. It didn't come to the American internet.
You know what, bro?
What if femboy getting fucked by femboy? That'd be even more feminine. It would be over here. I wonder if it will show up if I look up as, what was it? Gay man who died Australian in sex cult dom sub group. Yeah, this guy, he injected silicone into his genitals, but as you can see, he is a hyper-masculine bada body, massive bear Chad, but he was one of, as you can see, there's clearly some injections going on here. Here's the photo of them. Yeah, here we go. But he was one of the subs with the center. I think they're all doing injections, actually. Harder, faster, deeper t-shirt, by the way. I think the central commander guy was like the sub or the official dom for all of them. I don't actually remember the specifics, but they really did all achieve the massive round bada body type that you read in all the hentai, right? His cock is 9 months pregnant. Guys, don't inject silicone into your body. Just don't do it. Whether it's for your biceps or your cock or whatever. Your body is not meant to have silicone injections. The fact that we do it for breasts is a bad idea as well.
Boy next door, big party, boy next door, Dungeon Master. It's a fucking D.
I feel warm and fuzzy seeing this picture. Yeah, he did too, but then he died because he went too deep into the gay bada Chad zone, so... You're not my boss, I'ma do it now. There's that one guy, that Russian guy they call Popeye, who keeps on injecting, like, silicone into his biceps, and the doctors keep on telling him that he's literally gonna die. And I think he's done it again. They have, like, serious body problems. Just don't inject anything into your body. Injecting shit into your body is a big, big deal and should only be done under the supervision of medical professionals, and even then can go wrong if they fuck something up. So it really is something that we need to think about before we do. Silicone is actually the more natural implant for boob jobs. Yeah. Is there really some sort of natural implant? I mean, we're not silicone-based life forms like the creatures in Blame. We're still carbon-based life forms. I don't think we should be injecting anything into our body.
Mr. Affleck said to me, when are you going to have a gay party up here? And I was totally blown away.
Celine stiffens, especially with under the muscle. It also is harder to get a tear shape. Huh. Japanese boob jobs are way better, I will say this. A lot of the times I don't even know that the women, the JAV actresses, have boob jobs until I see the very small scars they have underneath their armpits. They're also prone to growing mold if you're not careful. That reminds me, you have to clean the bathroom. We're in the Japanese humid season now, so the bath is starting to grow mold. There's a reason why you need to replace them every 5 to 10 years. Oh, great. Another way in which I have to be reliant on the medical establishment. Fun.
This thing is $300. Just lube it up. It's so fucking deep.
If you see a famous woman with incredible tits, there is a massive chance she had a breast lift and or implants. What about this Sydney Sweeney person I keep on hearing so much about? We've literally had people on this stream ask me what I think about Sydney Sweeney, and my opinion is she looks like mass-product Barbie doll tit fantasy number 5300. I don't really have any opinion. Sydney Sweeney had a lift but no implants. Her tits are a strong 10, her face a weak 6. Just, there's a reason why they sell paper bags, people. Sydney Sweeney hot. Images. Meh. Honestly, I like her face more than a 6, but one of the top images I get is one of her own photos where she's showing off her ass. It might just be the picture quality, but I'm seeing some cellulite here. Well, she certainly is wearing the trad wife content right here. I don't know. Her face is cute but not stunning. That's kind of what guys want, though, isn't it? Guys want the girl next door type with giant fat tits, but not like too hot because they feel like then she's unapproachable. Men want the girl next door, except there definitely isn't that girl next door, but they want to believe that she's the girl next door and that she's going to show up with a fucking apple pie and then suck their dick. I believe the concept behind the Akiba 48 idol group was like the second cutest girl in your class. Apparently that isn't actually what the creator said, but it sort of caught on as the concept that people, when they think about Akiba 48, and it was super successful in Japan.
7x7, that was my goal ever San Francisco. Experience and hot sex. I'm self-hot, welcome back. That was my
They wanted their girls to be approachable.
resume, and oh my god.
She's a 10, they'll get too intimidated. Men don't simp over Angelina Jolie in her 30s. We would never betray Brad.
Website, bring in, got that boy next door.
Angelina Jolie still gets high points for being the closest recreation of a video game character we're ever gonna get, though. She was literally born to play Lara Croft. Unfortunately, video game moves are always gonna suck, so we didn't really need anybody to play Lara Croft. but she was put on this earth to play Lara Croft. Not Cherry Pie, my favorite, most subtle rock song. She's my cherry pie. She's my cherry pie. Cherry Pie by Warrant. No one knows the true meaning of the lyrics. So, if you're watching the video, they thought it wasn't subtle enough, so they included a blonde model on roller skates and have her trip and the piece of pie fall between her legs. Did you catch that, guys? The symbolism might be too subtle for you right there. It's only 1 second. You have to stop the video to notice. But this is where Warrant, in their poetic symbolism, is trying to tell you something. Kojima would be proud. Kojima would be like, he'd have like a 30-minute codec call explaining the meaning of this. Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell whether you're looking at a man or a woman because they all have the same length of hair. Honestly, we need to go back. Music videos had so much more soul back then when they would have a specific lyric and they would actually do the action of the lyric. Every hair metal band ever, the main singer dude looks exactly the same as the female they're sexualizing. You can't tell whether you're looking at the man or the woman. This is where they spray her with the hose. See, they're literally cutting in between him and her, and you can't even tell which one you're looking at. It's a great look. The 80s were great. Dude looks like a lady, also an 80s song, of course. The era of long-haired blondes, we can go back to it. We just need women to, start dyeing their hair again and dressing like that. I sometimes rewatch Rock of Love and realize that this would have been cringy regardless of the era. Yes, I'm pretty sure hair bands were pretty cringy even at the time. But we still enjoy it. Alright guys, I'm not going to make any more progress on stream because I'm getting to the more difficult parts of the image and I have to actually focus. So I'm going to end the stream here. See you around, boys. Good night. Have a nice night. Pay for my salon visits. Yeah.